nothing happens until you take action, and kind of the chemistry version of it, of every action creates a reaction, because nothing changes until you act on some sort of change, and you just want to try to create the chain reaction in hopefully a direction that you're wanting it to go.
A theme that's been coming up a lot for me lately in conversations I'm having with people is, you want a better answer, ask a better question. You could say, hey, I want to start this business. I don't know how. What should I do? Like, what should I do is such a broad, question. I think I could say this for all three of us. Each of us this last year have had instances and moments of hardship and tears and wondering, am I doing the right thing? Am I on the wrong path or not?
Spiraling, wandering.
The fears,
Welcome to the Everyday Leader Podcast. Leadership is a choice. Join me, Matt, and my co-hosts Drew and Tate each episode as we break down how to lead powerfully in your family, team, and organization.
Welcome back to the Everyday Leader Podcast. We are recording the New Year's episode today, and all three of us are here again. It's actually only been 10 minutes since we recorded the last recording, but
you don't know that.
But you don't know that. And Tate and Drew tried to be masters of disguise and trick our audience to make them think it was another day.
Well, I was just sweating.
I didn't have anything to change into.
So
anyways, we're glad you we just need to start over.
No, we keep it. We're going. This is the raw, unedited Everyday Leader Podcast.
All right. Okay. Well, so we mentioned in the last episode, right, that sometimes there's these common phrases that are used in our society that are not helpful. Like, they're not filled with truth and creativity. And one of those is that good things come to those who wait. And obviously there's a sliver of truth in that, from the standpoint of there's going to be good that comes when people are willing to stay consistent. There's some long suffering involved, some enduring ups and downs involved. And I think that's what the intent of that quote probably was. However, I really do feel like it gets misinterpreted and internalized improperly in a way that's like, well, if I just wait, external things will get better and then good things will come to me. And it's like, that's where I don't believe that. I don't think that is the way it works. So while there is a sliver of truth and, consistently waiting and working for something to continue to grow is awesome, this is my version of good things come to those who wait. And it's that good things are created by those who take aligned action with who they are and what they want. And that's a lot different than hopefully something external changes and I wait long enough and, a good thing will happen to me. So curious your guys' thoughts. I don't know that either of you have heard me say that before. So what's your initial reaction to that?
Initial reaction is, I believe that, and I've seen that. I feel like waiting, and maybe there's a context for waiting, right? But
it's just like words, right?
Right. We can mince words, and I've found that often waiting prevents things from happening I would like to have happen in my life. That often the greatest change, the greatest moments have happened when I have just decided I'm going to do something different. And so why is that? I believe it's because often waiting is us justifying the reasons not to start something.
Yeah.
And I found with it, when I just decide, hey, you know what? I don't have it all figured out, and I'm still going to move forward, and I'm still going to take a step, and I'm still going to do something scary, bold, new. Often great things happen, and not always. That's not always a win. Sometimes the win is that didn't work, and I know
learning.
The fact that I took action helped me learn faster that this is not the path, and I want to go a different route. Been huge.
Yeah.
I heard a quote the other day, and I've been dying for the right moment for it. I just found it. But basically, it's humans aren't rational. We rationalize. And it's basically like what Drew was just talking about is, we find reasons to wait. And that's kind of what that quote originally says to me, and I think Matt's right too in his assumption that the true intent of that and the original meaning wasn't telling people to be lazy
Sit
and
around and
find
do
reasons
nothing.
not to do
Yeah.
things. I don't think that's the meaning at heart. And initial thoughts of Matt's revised quote, to me, I summarize it even more as just take action. Nothing happens until you take action, and kind of the chemistry version of it of every action creates a reaction. And really, that's in life, that's what you're trying to do, because nothing changes until you act on some sort of change, and you just want to try to create the chain reaction in hopefully a direction that you're wanting it to go. And the idea of if it doesn't, you can make another action and change directions and keep going. Um, but the reality of it is nothing happens without movement in my mind.
Yeah.
And so you gotta
So
movement
I've got
is the start of everything. I mean, literally at a molecular level.
Totally. So I've got a question for you guys then. What's an example you've seen in your own life or someone else's where not waiting, where taking a step, taking an action has brought good things?
There's a lot of them too. Just two of them that come to mind are both real estate related, actually, where in both of those time periods in the world, there's always a reason not to do something, right? Or to wait for interest rates, wait for the market, wait for something. And not that there's never wisdom in that. I'm just saying that there's always going to be stuff like that. And the times that we made a decision and went for it and did something and didn't wait, they all worked out great. And sometimes they're not going to, and that's okay too. I mean, it's part of like the learning. I have evidence of take action and figure it out, and like be willing to create along the way, and respond powerfully if things don't go your way, and things will work out.
So I mentioned this to these guys earlier, and I'm reading a book called The Art of Spending Money. And that's where my mind's going right now, because basically a lot of the concept in there is there's really no right or wrong way of spending money. It comes down to who we are as individuals, and what's right to me is not going to be right to you. And basically we're trying to live our most fulfilled life in whatever makes sense to us. And so kind of to Matt's point in his example right now, it's there's always reasons not to. And if he felt like he was getting closer to what he truly wanted in life, take the action. Don't wait for the perfect moment, because it's never coming. And not that there isn't valid reasons to wait on things at times, but I tell people that, young families especially, that are saying, well, we're going to wait till XYZ to start a family or to get married, and the red flag to me in those moments is, are these people really waiting for that moment, or are they finding a reason not to do the thing?
Right.
Yeah.
And
Well, and there's always risk, right, Tate?
Mhm.
Like there's always going to be a reason not to. So sorry, you I think you had more to say though.
no, I mean, that was pretty much the summary of that for me is, and you think back of our parents or whatever, like they figured it out. That was part of life, making those connections. And now you have a partner and a team so you just do it. And I know countless people that have gotten married and started families in college or starting a business. And I'm not saying it's easy or the right thing to do. I'm not. What I am saying though is, don't find reasons to wait if it's not, if that's all it is.
Yeah.
Right.
So here's a question for you guys, because I can almost guarantee that someone listening is like, well, yeah, it's easy to just say take action. It's easy to say, well, just do it. I don't do it. Like, they might be saying that to themselves, like, I don't do it. Why don't I do it? So what do you say to someone who, like, just do it doesn't do it for them? Like, what else is there? If
Yeah.
just do it doesn't get them out and doing it, then what else? What would you guys say?
A theme that's been coming up a lot for me lately in conversations I'm having with people is you want a better answer, ask a better question. Like you
Yeah.
could ask yourself, why shouldn't I do this? And you will have a great list of reasons not to. Or you could say, hey, I want to start this business. I don't know how. What should I do? Like, what should I do is such a broad like question, where a better question might be, hey, what's the one thing I could do that
Today.
would today that would move my business forward? What's the one call I could make? Who's the one person I need to talk to that could get me where I want to go? And so sometimes just changing that question, making that shift of like these broad unanswerable questions to just getting a really specific question and answer can really help you move. In fact, I just want to give an example. Like, you both know Josh and I are launching a community for men called the Rise Up Experience, and we have a great big vision. And what I think we're doing a great job of, it's launching in the beginning in January. We're actively selling it. Guys are signing up for it now. We don't have it all figured out. Like we're selling a dream and a vision, and we've got a big enough dream, and we've got the bones of it built out, but we don't have all the details figured out. And so some of that's going to be created by those we bring in, because we're just taking action and moving forward. And I'm seeing things happening with this experience we're creating because of that. And I've seen it over and over again in my life. There's plenty of times where I've, to your, like what you're talking about a second ago, Tate, where I've want it all perfect. And so because I want things perfect, I find all the reasons why I should wait, or why it's not the right time, or well, I've got to get all these ducks lined up, and my LLC isn't incorporated yet, and I don't have an EIN, and the business bank account isn't started, so we can't do anything yet. And it's like, oh, a lot of times that's the reason to start.
Yeah, that's super good. Okay, so just to like pull that nugget out, because it's so good. Ask a better question, get a better answer. We learned that from Uncle Richie Norton. And like what he also says, what's the goal of the goal? Well, I love this. It's like maybe the thing you think you're supposed to be doing isn't even something you actually want, which is why you're not just doing it. So even just asking yourself, why do I want this?
Yeah.
Like, what's the goal of the goal? So like, for what? And then ask yourself for what again to that answer, and for what again, until you get somewhere where it's like, oh yeah, for that. Or you may find like, well, I already have that.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I want to have more time with my kids or whatever. And you may get to that's the reason and be like, well, I already have that. Like, and that's free. So that's why I'm not doing the
Yeah,
thing.
I could choose to spend my Saturday different instead of quit my job and start a business. Maybe if the whole reason's that, it's like I've got to ask a different question. Maybe that's the reason not to act. But still, like, yeah.
Totally. So
what's the goal of the goal?
Yeah, ask yourself a better question. And that's your example is fantastic, Drew. Like, instead of just like, what should I do? No, like, what could I do today that would give me a little bit more clarity, or show me if this is even something remotely worth still spending my time on? Like, just pick one thing today. And that's extremely helpful. So I love that.
So I've got a couple things. And one of them this has hit me, and I still deal with it at times, is when you have a big vision, a big dream, and you haven't necessarily started, the idea is overwhelming to start. And
Yeah.
until you can start breaking down, okay, what is it? What do I have to have? And then you can start fundamentally getting some steps. And the whole concept for me that comes to mind is, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. And it's those small actions that add up over time that get you to that overall vision. And along with that, though, is not every action you take, you could think this is the action I need to make that's going to get me closer. Not every one of those is going to line perfectly. And that's okay. Keep doing the one, working on the ones and things you think will, because you stack more of those together and it will over time. Especially if you're making the corrections and changes along the way, like, hey, that didn't work. We either don't need to do that, or we need to tweak it, or whatever it is. And so for me, those are the thoughts that immediately came to mind. Is it's not just do it, because I think just do it overwhelms people.
Right.
It's like, doesn't.
Yeah, it's like, just do what? Like, I want to go to space. Well, just do it. Well, well, okay. How do you start that? You start whatever training it is. If there's requirements, look them up. It just infinitely different steps that you can take along the way to achieve whatever goal that is. Like Drew said, you're still working your 9 to 5 and you're trying to figure out, how do I stop that and start my own business? Well, you can start structuring your own business. You can do those things like set up the LLC and start the bank account and fund it and develop a business plan, and even start side work in some cases where you're doing it after hours or on the weekends, or but those are all individual steps in themselves. It's not all something that happens over the course of a day or even a week.
Yeah, I don't know if we've talked about this book before, but there's a book I love, and I think if someone's, we talked last year about anti New Year's goals, but if you are setting some New Year's goals and you're wondering why you don't finish them, there's a book called Finished: Give Yourself the Gift of Done, written by an author named John. I think it's Acuff, Acuff, and I love this book because he talks about how often what keeps us from doing the thing is the dream of perfection, like the idea that it has to be perfect. And often we give up on the goal, we give up on the dream. We might have talked a little bit about this last year, but it's the day after perfect. It's like, okay, new year, new me, I'm going to lose 20 pounds. And we diet great for 3 weeks. And then we go to our cousin's house and gorge on food all weekend. And it's like, well, I screwed up. I'm no good. Might as well give up on new year, new me, because I had one day that didn't work. And then you throw in the towel. And he talks about how this idea of perfection is something a lot of us are chasing every single day. And there's a difference between being perfect and finishing. And that I think that distinction's really important. If you want to reach your goals, be okay with finished and be okay with it not being perfect.
Well, for me, this hit hard listening to you talk about that, but basically in the biblical context of the Old Testament versus the New Testament and what Jesus created and the actual end goal of what we're trying to accomplish and get to, he does, by the end of it, you start with the laws of Moses. There's, X, Y, like boom, to Jesus dying on the cross and basically telling us the biggest thing we have to do is believe. And obviously there's a little more to it than that, but fundamentally that's where it lands. And same kind of thing.
Well, basically what he's saying is that it starts in the heart, not in the behavior. And I think that's where just do it doesn't work. Right. Because it's like, if I was going to just do it, I would have already just been doing it, and having someone just tell me to have a different behavior is not going to have me have a different behavior.
Yeah. Yeah. And the whole belief in like the laws of Moses was that you had to be perfect. Like that's what was expected, even though none of us were. And then you bring in Jesus and it's like, you guys, we know nobody's perfect. Like, try your best. You know what's right and wrong, but believe. And you'll get there.
And devil's advocate here, like Jesus did teach on the Sermon in the Mount, be ye therefore perfect, even as my Father in heaven who is perfect. And what's super interesting, because I think a lot of Christians, we take that verse and we beat ourselves up when we aren't perfect. Mm-hmm. And if you look at some of the other ways that word could be translated, it could mean complete, it could mean whole, which like shifts the whole paradigm of what he was saying when you use maybe a slightly different word in that context. Be complete, be whole. Like that's a completely different meaning in my mind than be perfect. And
for sure.
Not to say we can't strive for perfection in our lives and have a standard that we want to be that at some point. And you don't have to be that right now.
Totally. Well, so just to kind of like link some of these things together. Okay. So when you're looking at, things I want, well, ask yourself why or for what. I like saying for what, because why is triggering in us, because we probably got asked why, like, why are you doing that bad thing 100 times when we were kids? Okay. For what? Like, for what do you want this thing? And then whatever answer you have, say for what again and again and again till you get to like something really deep. And then you can really at that point decide, like, do I actually want this? Is this something that I have like an actual internal commitment for? And if the answer is yes, then give your word to yourself around that thing. And if the answer is no, then let go of it. Like so many of the things right now, you're listening to this that you think you want, you don't actually want. You just think you're supposed to want them. or you think you should have them, or you think you
Give an
you
example.
need to have them. Well, for example, like, I need to be making X amount of money a month from my business, or I need to get a raise. It's like, that's not a bad thing. It's just like, is it actually what you want? Is it actually going to get you what you want? Right? And maybe it is. I'm just saying, challenge it, right? Like, ask yourself the question, for what? Like, well, I need to own a home. For what? Just ask yourself, I want to build a house. For what? Like, just ask yourself that question to challenge it. Because then if you give your word to it and you do have this internal commitment, that's where this definition of whole and complete gets really fascinating, because that's how we look at integrity. With, like, when you keep your word, you're whole and complete. And I think that's where this all kind of comes together, is like, ask yourself the challenging question to be like, for what? Do I really want this? And am I really going to commit to it? And then if you do, then go all in and keep your word to yourself.
Yeah.
And that's how you're not going to be perfect at it. And you can be pretty close to whole and complete with keeping your word to yourself, or at least, cleaning up messes and honoring it when you're not, and that kind of thing. So I think that's how this kind of strings together.
Well, and I just kind of want to clarify some of what you're saying there. I mean, keeping your word to yourself, I mean, that still almost sounds like perfection, striving for it. And yes, we're striving for it, I think. And when we're so critical and shame-based around it, to your point, I think it causes way more. For me, the whole idea right now in my mind is, if you're counting wins or losses, example, you overate at a New Year's thing and you ruined your thing right out the gate. Well, let's say you were the 3 weeks in. If you had been perfect 20 days and 1 day of imperfect, if you had just had a visual of that, what does that look like? Let's say it's 20 X's in the I did it and 1 in the I didn't. I know for me, that's pretty astounding to look at. It's like, man, I am winning. Yeah, I wasn't perfect, but I'm winning.
Yeah.
And for some people, I think that might help kind of break that. And I think that's why a lot of people use trainers and all these, food apps and everything nowadays, is the whole idea to show you, hey, you're winning more often than you're not. And I think it's really helpful. But I also think it could be really simple. Like, people mark in their calendar, like, I did this today. I did this today. I did this today.
Well, you're whole and complete when on day 22 you get back on the horse.
Yes,
that's right.
And,
yes,
right, like
that's
that, and that's the point of all of, like, what we're talking about here is, like, it's when you fall off, if you clean it up as quick as possible, you're back to whole and complete again. And so it does two things. One, if you have a commitment to keeping your word, you live, like, it will help you live at a better standard for yourself. And two, when you don't, it'll help you correct that standard as fast as possible. And it's okay. You're gonna make a mistake. You're gonna screw up. You're gonna yell at your kid. You're going to have a day where just you're on the road and you can't eat everything you wanted to because the gas station wasn't stocked properly. And it's okay. Like, that's okay. And it's like, I get back up tomorrow, the day after imperfection, and I'm whole again because I'm back at it.
Yeah. And you're still committed to it. And so much of that goes back to, you didn't give your word to a bunch of stuff that you don't actually want. Like, the stuff you said yes to was stuff that you challenged and really thought through and, like, made sure, like, do I really want this? So you feel less overwhelmed, because it's not like all this stuff you're saying yes to, but it's like, well, I don't actually really want that.
So I'm sure we've all had things like we've promised ourselves or told us, I'm not going to do that ever again, or, I'm going to, and we've all failed, I'm sure. Where do you think, like, trying to find the right, how to phrase this, the negativity, or like just the idea around failure in that sense, where we go from, man, I failed one time and I give up. Where do you think that comes from?
I think a lot of it's rooted in perfection, personally. I mean, we go back to that.
But even that, where does that come from?
So we can just go here, because to me, like, if we're here to help each other and everyone listening to understand and embody leadership, right?
Mhm.
If we're going to do that effectively, it's also important for us to understand the enemy of leadership, right? Like, I've been thinking about that lately. Like, if we're going to battle against someone, we got to know their weapons and know like who we're battling, right? And so there's a lot of different words to encompass the devil, the adversary, you know, Satan, whatever you want to call it. And his greatest tool is shame, which comes from his attack on identity. And so to me, Tate, that's where that comes from. Is like this isn't like just some passive thing. It's like an active thing. It's a part of being mortal where there's an active force that wants your identity to be attacked, wants you to feel shame, wants you to hide, wants you to give up repeatedly. And to your point, the truth is we are not going to be perfect.
Mhm.
But the powerful thing is that God doesn't expect us to be.
Mhm.
He actually has an expectancy that we're not going to be perfect.
That's why he sent his son.
That's why he sent Jesus. So that's where we can give ourselves grace and receive that grace. And that to me is the thing that helps me on day 22 keep going more than anything, is when I can give myself grace or receive grace from God. And that's a powerful thing. Like when it goes back to just do it, it's like, well, give myself grace and then, you know, get back up again.
I believe that you hit it right on the head where it all comes from. It stems. And I guess what I want to dive into a little bit, though, or at least ask, is what are the things we're experiencing in life that are reinforcing that? You know, what
Shame or what?
it
What's your
is
question? So around what?
the idea of our perception of failure and the ability to give up so easy. You know, I wholeheartedly believe it's one of those things as being mortal and comes, you know, the devil's influence and those things. But how's he working? Like, how's he working through other people or experiences? What are things we're experiencing that make us like develop that idea?
It's so cliche, but I think I mean, this is talked about a lot, but I do think social media has changed what we think success looks like. Like,
Or what we're supposed to
right,
be
what we're
like.
supposed to do.
Yeah.
Because you see the, you know, your wife sees the Instagram mom whose house is always cleaned and whose kids are always dressed up, and you don't see the screaming children in the morning and the dirty dishes in the sink, and like you don't see those things. So I feel like, at least this is my experience, that I notice when I'm spending a lot of time scrolling, I'm feeling less because I'm comparing myself to a reality of others that actually isn't even a true reality of what exists. And I think that's probably just one piece, Tate. I think there's a lot to this. Like, a lot of it goes back to the shame and what are the tools of the adversary he uses to help us beat ourselves up. And I think that's just magnified in our day and age, where it's like, it's so easy to feel like there's a perfect standard out there and I can't hit it and everybody else is, and I'm the only one that's not.
Yeah.
Or why is this so much harder for me? Or why, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, so then what? I I believe that all of us, like being aware of this is helpful. Like I really have noticed that the more aware I have become of like shame and its presence and pervasiveness in my life, just the more I can talk about it openly, work against it, try to counter it, right? And to me the greatest like counter is grace. Because like if we're actually able to embody receive grace, then it relieves us of the shame, because it's like, hey, it's okay that I'm not the perfect mom. It's okay that I'm not the perfect dad. It's okay that I messed up again, even though I said I wouldn't for 15 times or whatever. And so it's the heart that can be worked on through grace that then allows us to then go focus on behaviors. Whereas a lot of times I think we're just like, just do it. Behavior. It's like, I don't want to do it, or like I don't. And I've said that before and it doesn't do anything. And so to me, grace is the antidote for shame, and can just allow us to feel something and have something shift inside of us so that we then can have a behavioral shift.
And I just, I don't know how many listen to our episodes regularly. But if any of you are listening to our episodes regularly and you think, oh man, Drew, Matt, and Tate have it figured out and their year has been
Yeah.
amazing. Like we're even showing you our best. Like the podcast is our best. The things we share on social media is often our best. And I know I think I could say this for all three of us. Each of us this last year have had instances and moments of hardship and tears and wondering, am I doing the right thing? Am I on the wrong path or not?
Spiraling,
The
wandering.
doubts, the fears, like everybody, if you're listening to this, everybody's experiencing that. I don't care who they are. Everybody goes through it. There might be some who have those moments less often than others, and everybody feels those doubts. Everybody feels insecure. I was just talking with, I think, heard somebody talking about how, I guess, what's his name? Donald Trump his coach was, oh, what's the short guy? A really short guy. He's a big, anyways, Ed Milet.
Ed Milet.
Was it Ed Milet? Maybe not. I might be getting the wrong name here.
Ed, if you're listening to this,
Yeah.
Drew didn't just call you short. So
Yeah, sorry, Ed. You're a giant stature of a man. And that Donald Trump was telling him, like, I'm in the White House. I've got all these leaders around me. I'm looking up and I see a picture of Abraham Lincoln. Look, I don't care if you like Trump or not. And he's thinking in his head, like, what am I doing here sitting in the Oval Office, like seeing a picture of Abraham Lincoln, one of the greatest leaders in what was his mind at the time. And Ed having to reassure him, like, you're there for a reason and you have a work to do and you've got a great purpose. Like, everybody experiences this. And so we experiencing this, if you're experiencing it, that's normal. It's okay. And you can strive to be whole. You can strive to be complete. You can strive to act and do.
You can also choose to receive grace. Like, even if you don't even know what that means, just ponder on it and try to find room in your heart to like let it in, because it's all around trying to get in. And all that is like, it's okay. That's what grace is. Grace is, it's okay. Like, you don't have to be perfect. Everything is okay. You're okay. Like, let that into you to soften up your heart and receive that. Like, grace is like, it's okay. I've handled it. You're going to be all right.
We've talked a lot about perfection and just kind of the idea around it. And one thing I want to point out, just on more of a positive note, for anybody that's more self-critical or trying to figure out, like, how do I do that? How do I overcome these things? Is we all have gifts. We all have things we're really good at. And I can assure you, whether it's somebody on TV or a podcast or TikTok or Instagram that you really look up to, each and every one of us has something we're better at than them. And I don't care who you are. I think that's true. Some of us can speak. Some of us can play sports. Some of us are just really good at leading and connecting with people. And we can develop new skills. And I encourage us all. And we all have gifts. And be proud of your gifts and use them, because there's somebody that's also looking at you with that gift thinking, man, I wish I was more like that person in this aspect of my life.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, it's good stuff. Okay, so good things don't come to those who wait.
Take action.
Take action, right? Take aligned action, meaning don't just take random action, take aligned action with who you are and what you want. And you figure that out by asking yourself a lot of times, for what? Like, I want this, for what? And once you get clear on that, and you can say, I really, truly want that for this reason, then attach a commitment to it and commit to it, and try to keep your word to yourself. And when you don't, give yourself grace and accept grace. And that's I'm telling you, that is how you get back up on day 22 when day 21 didn't go so well, is by forgiving yourself, just accepting grace and going again.
And if you don't know the step to take, ask a better question.
Yeah.
Matt, you like to fish.
Yes.
So my mom had a sign, actually. This will be a funny twist on your saying there, said, good things come to those who bait.
Who bait?
And there's a little fishing sign. So, they're taking action by baiting the hook and putting it in the water, if that helps you.
Yeah,
So.
totally. Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, yeah, to our listener, we hope 2026 is an amazing year, and it's up to you. Like that's the great thing about it. This year's not written yet. You can choose to make it the best year of your life or not. If 2025 was the best year of your life, awesome. If it wasn't, that's okay. Like, guess what? We got a new year. Like,
Yeah, just plan on it. Look, you're a leader. You have 100% response ability, and so whatever you got going on, you're up against, you can respond. You get to choose what you give your word to, what your level of commitment is, and what your level of acceptance of grace is. All of that is your choice, and we believe in you. We know you can do it.
Yeah. Surround yourself with good people, and remember that even around good people, none of them can do these things for you. And, they can help guide you, teach you, support you, and I encourage that. But ultimately, we as individuals have to take the action.
Yep. It's so good.
awesome. Well, happy New Year's, guys. Excited for 2026 and what it brings each of us, and excited for a new year.
Yeah.
Yep.
Today's the day.
Today.
Thanks for joining us on the Everyday Leader podcast. If you're ready to take your leadership journey even further, subscribe to our weekly newsletter for more insights and practical tips. And don't forget to connect with us on Instagram to stay a part of our growing community. Just follow the links in the show notes. If this episode impacted you, please help us spread the word and share the link with a friend from wherever you're listening.